Right, so in today's video we're going to be doing one of the biggest projects that we've done in this garden so far, and it's going to be sorting out the drainage problem that we have on this lawn. Right, so if you've been on this channel for the past few weeks, you'll know that this lawn became really waterlogged towards the back end of 2023, and then obviously January and February came with all the rain that we had, and what happened is the actual grass plants just rotted away from this side of the garden. And the main issue really is the drainage problem. Now, we do have a French drain that runs along the front of this patio here, but that is purely to get the water from the actual patio itself. And what we have up at the top here, we've got about 6 to 8 inches of topsoil, and below there's really thick, heavy clay. And what's happening is when it rains, the actual clay is getting soaked, and then it soaks through the grass, and then no more of that water can actually drain through the clay, then resulting in it being quite boggy. So although we do have a French drain running through these stones here, there is actually a drain that runs straight into the lawn, which is much deeper. Now, this is something the housing developers put in, but stupidly they put clay on top of the French drain, which means that none of the moisture can really get through. Whereas we're not going to be putting clay back on top, we're going to be going on with nice sandy topsoil. So you can see I put into the fabric there just to check everything's in working order, and everything absolutely is. So we're going to be able to go quite deep on this end. So we'll have one main drain running up to the top, and like I just said, we'll curve them outwards straight across this lawn, reducing any moisture problems. So I started off by just marking up the area that I wanted using a lawn edging tool, just so I got a nice sharp edge either side. And then I got a spade, took out the actual top layer of topsoil, and then got on with a mattock to actually dig the trench. Now, personally, I think a mattock is one of the most versatile tools you can own. If you're doing like a garden renovation yourself, where you've got to install things like French drains or level clay soil, or do exactly what I'm doing in today's video, then a mattock is worth its weight in gold. You can get them from the likes of B&Q, Screwfix, Toolstation. They're relatively inexpensive, but they're a brilliant tool to have. And one other thing that I just wanted to mention as well, even though I'm installing the drain on this lawn at the moment to actually improve the overall drainage, choosing the right grass species for your garden is going to go a long way to actually improving the drainage without even having to do a job like this. The lawn that this used to be was a ryegrass lawn, and it looks great in the summer. It thickens up really well when you get loads of overseeding done. But the issue with ryegrass is that one grass seed creates one grass plant. And if you think about the actual root system below, that soil layer, it doesn't really result in a lot of roots going down. Yes, you've got quite a lot of plants, but compared to sort of a fescue lawn or a bent grass lawn, the actual root mat below is going to be nowhere near the root mats of those other species. So I'm going to be getting on this lawn and actually seeding it as a fescue bent mix, and hopefully that way those plants that are much more sort of thirsty and have a much thicker root mat will be able to absorb more of that moisture, and it will also then help with the drainage of this lawn. So it's been around about 5 days now since we actually dug the 2 trenches for the actual drain, and the plan has changed ever so slightly. So the original plan was to bring the drains down from the top of the garden, falling this way. Now, logically, it doesn't make a whole ton of sense because there's a slight fall on this lawn that goes down towards the front. And if I do drains going this way, then if the water's above the drain, it's going to drain down into it, which is exactly what we want. But if it's not in those spaces where the drain is, it's going to be draining this way, but actually falling down into that pipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this drain where it is for now. I mean, it's dug, so I don't need to necessarily worry about filling it back in. I can get in with the pipe, I can get in with the stones. And this is going to be the main drain running along the front that is going to be helping to drain off this lawn. Now, there's a few reasons why I'm only going to be going with this and not going with a herringbone drain sort of style like a few people have mentioned. First of all, I'm not draining Wembley. This space isn't that big, and to be honest, with a slight fall that it has, this drain should be enough. And also, when we get on with the new grass species, which isn't going to be just fescue now, it is going to be a fescue bent mix, then once that grass is established, those roots are going to be absorbing a lot of the moisture that's in the soil. So over here now, where I'm standing, where the grass is slowly dying, it's not as waterlogged as what it is over here. And to be honest, on this side, it's not necessarily waterlogged. The soil's just quite moist, but it's literally soil. It's nothing else. There's no plants in there. Once there's a plant in that space and there's actually a root system below, it's going to absorb a lot of that moisture. It's going to hold that soil together a little bit better. And if I improve the drainage too much in this space, then it's going to be to the detriment of the plants that actually go down into it. So I'll give you a close look at what the drain looks like so far. So you can see there's some water in the trench at the moment. There's about 2 to 3 inches of water, you know, in various different spaces along where the actual drain is. At this point, around about, you know, just shy of ½ a metre deep on this side. You can see I've broken through yet to the actual drain. I've just left it as is, hence why it's pooling on this side. This part does need to be a little bit deeper, which I can actually do today, so that's not going to be too much of an issue. But you can just see the fact that it's pooling down here just tells you that, you know, the actual clay isn't absorbing the moisture that's going down into it. So the way you have got to sort of visualize it is that we've got the top layer of topsoil, which has quite a lot of sand in there. It's quite, you know, good at, you know, freely draining that moisture through. And then below that layer of decent topsoil, there's that layer of clay, which really isn't absorbing much of the water. But what we're doing is we're disturbing that clay layer. We're putting the drain on the inside, so hopefully that water, when it sits on top of the clay, can eventually make its way through the soil to the lowest possible point, which will be the drain. That'll take that moisture away and then, you know, give us a lawn that isn't as boggy as the one I'm sat in front of now. But to be honest, with it only being 5 days, and it rained quite a lot yesterday, hence the water in the trench, the actual soil either side here is quite firm, and it's much firmer than what it was last week. Now that might just be coincidence, but I don't really think it is. It's funny how the soil firms up quite a lot when you put a ginormous hole in between. So you might not think that is the perfect solution, but that's what I'm going to be doing. It saves me a lot more labour having to dig up the rest of my garden. And if you've got a garden that is much bigger than this, then putting drains every square metre is going to be absolutely ridiculous without having to hire machines or hire someone to actually come in and excavate it for you. So yeah, let's get on. Let's do a little bit more digging before we actually install the drain. So I've gone as low as I'm going to go now with the drain. I only took it down a little bit. So if I measure it here now, it's measuring roughly at the actual level of the soil at around about 60 inches, around about 40 centimetres. So it's quite deep. Now bear in mind the pipe's only 8 centimetres and the actual stones around it's probably going to take it to anywhere from 12 to 14 centimetres, which leaves us with quite a lot of depth for soil. Now I don't want the soil to be too thick because then, you know, the water's going to pass through too slow. But again, if it's too thin, the water will pass through much too fast, and then we'll end up with issues in the summer where we'll have dry streaks across the lawn. And over on this side where it is at its most shallow, it's at around about 13 inches, roughly sort of 32, 33 centimetres. So again, if it was about 14 centimetres worth being the stones in the pipe, half that distance again, which is, you know, roughly around about 6 inches or so, is going to be topsoil on top. So it's time to get the drain in place. There's quite a bit of debate online when you have a look about drains, whether you should actually getting on and covering them in fabric. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line the entire trench with this weed control fabric. It says on the front it's used for beds and borders. All that basically means is permeable. It's going to allow the water to pass through and avoid any of, you know, the silt and the clay and things getting into the stones and into the pipe and clogging things up. Now it's not going to be a perfect solution because if the pipe can clog, then, you know, the actual pores on this fabric can clog as well. But it's hopefully just going to mean a little bit more longevity for the pipe. Some people do say that it won't run as freely, the water through the pipe, if you are covering it with a fabric. But I'm not dealing with a football pitch, I'm not dealing with Wembley, I'm not dealing with the entire field on a national park. I've got a tiny lawn, so the water's not going to be gushing through the pipe. There's not that much water in the soil. So putting this on just means it'll more slowly get into the pipe and through the drain system, but it's still going to do the job. No one's going to die. In worst case scenario, dig it up in 5 years and replace it, but I don't think I'll have to. And the only other thing I've got as well to go in, not just the pipe, but I've got 10mm pea gravel. Now you can use 20mm, but as long as it's quite round at the stone, just to allow the water to pass through more easily. You don't want a stone that's going to lock together and close up a lot of those spaces. You want a stone that's going to allow water to drain through and create voids. And that is part of the misconception people have with drains like this, is that it's not just about it just flowing through the pipe, as in it being like a regular pipe. It will if there's a lot of water passing through, but it's about creating voids in the ground. That's what's going to, take the moisture away. If there's a void in the ground that's lower, the moisture is going to flow into it. The pipe is one big void. The stones create smaller voids around the outside. And altogether, does a fairly decent job. And I got a decent deal on these at my local garden centre. So they were selling them for half price, any bags that were open. One of them's a half bag. The rest of them are pretty much full. They've just got holes in the top or little holes in the sides. So it only cost me around about £20 for 10.5 bags of 10mm pea gravel. Someone is going to say in the comments you can get like a ton of pea gravel for like £2.50 from like their local garden centre or somewhere else, or a mate, don't stress too much. If you can get a good deal, decent. If you don't, you're still going to do the job. Now I'm not actually going to connect the pipe that I'm putting in to the pipe that's already there. I'm just running it into this exact space. This is where I poured all that water before I even started this project, and it all just drains away. It's that drain over there. So once I've got the pipe in this general space, I'm going to line the entire space with the fabric. I mean, some of the silt and things and clay and whatever is going to get down into it, but it's not going to have a massive impact. And if you're wondering how the pipe actually works, you can see it's got all these perforations around the outside, which just allows the water to flow into that pipe or into that big void. So there we go, the drain is finally installed, and I've been round, for the most part, it's around about 6 inches between the stones and the actual level of the soil at the moment. I didn't get the drain right over to this far end, I just cut it slightly too short, which isn't much of an issue. What I will do is I'm going to fill that part there with some sandy soil so it still will drain through. So the next port of call now is to get on with some topsoil. So like I said, it's going to be quite a sandy topsoil, not something which contains a lot of clay, because I still want it to be free draining. Now the rest of the lawn does have elements of sand in it, like any soil actually will, but I will be hollow tine aerating this lawn as well and top dressing with sand, so hopefully it'll make the entire space much more freely draining. And over years of doing this, hopefully it's going to improve the actual quality of the soil. The original plan was to use this topsoil to break it up and to put it back in place over the top, but I don't want to do that. I want to get on with some fresh topsoil over the top of this. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to take all these big clumps of topsoil and I'm going to put them in the flower bed just behind where the camera is now. So you can see in this space, we were going to buy a lot of topsoil for this, but if I just smash up these pieces, I'll be able to fill more of this space, which is hopefully going to become a shady flower bed. Right, so there we go, the drain is now installed, and like you've just seen, I put some Westland topsoil down, which is quite sandy. You know, even if it has like a little bit of moisture in, it's still quite friable, which means that the moisture can easily sort of flow through it and down into the pipe. Now, the idea isn't for it to be like a French drain where it's meant to wick away every drop of water. We still want the soil to be able to retain moisture so that in the summer, the grass doesn't struggle. But there we go, it is now installed. Now, it isn't a professional installation. It's not a expert, you know, I've been a drain installer for like, you know, the past 20, 30 years. I know all the tricks of the trade. It's just a very simple way to drain a relatively small lawn. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. The next step on this lawn is going to be aerating it using the Hollow Tine aerator. And then we're going to be top dressing with a 70-30 mix of top dressing, 70% sand, 30% topsoil, and hopefully that'll also add to, you know, the drainage solution of this lawn. Now, in case anyone is wondering, just before I do end the video, the actual soil that I put down, you can see it can still be compacted a little bit further. What I am going to wait for is like the next rainfall, which is in a couple of days' time, and I'll let the rain over that week sort of help settle the ground before I come out again and put another layer or two of topsoil over the top, just to make sure we've not got those dips. I can compress it all I want now, but I can just let nature sort of do its thing in the next week. I won't be seeding this anyway for at least another maybe week and a half, 2 weeks. So I've got time to get the level right on this space before we go any further. So cheers for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to follow along with any more of this lawn renovation, or follow along with any of my other garden renovation or lawn sit videos, then feel free to subscribe. And finally, thanks for watching.